and you're watching ZTV on the Higher Learning Network. Put your head right.
Joining us back here on ZeldaSpeaks on Facebook, because we had to get off of Zoom because there is so much hatred and ignorance that online. You hear about it all the time, but you never expect it to happen to you, and that's exactly what happened on Zoom. So I don't think they're going to hack Zoom and do the things that they did elsewhere. So, as I was saying before, we were rudely interrupted with ignorism. Ignorism. Is that a word, Kwame?
Yeah, you just made it.
Okay. If Snoop can do it, we can too. We were about to talk about the 7-day blackout, economic blackout. And it was you that sent me that information, wasn't it?
Yes, I got a friend of mine from Arizona. They sent it up to me.
And I thought that was powerful too, because we are a community of people who we have more power than we even know about, and that we know how to manage it. And then we allow people to come into our space and tell us who we are and what we should be and how we should be. And it detracts from who and what we are. So excuse me, I'm trying to save this recording that I just did. Okay, there you go. So I wanted to talk about the importance of community and how we can come together as a human race, not people of color, not people, even though that's how we are portrayed, it's so negative, but as a human race. And until we do that, we will continue to have people who come on serious topics such as this one, how COVID-19 is affecting you, and they will come on with their silliness, drawing penises and things of that nature, and just saying, the N-words. And they're children. They have the mind of a child. And you can't get mad or angry at the mind of a child. Just know that they are a child, and that's what children do. They do childish things. And I can't even be offended by it because I know they're children. And I had to learn that lesson from children. So I thank the children for showing me what it is that I had to learn. But as we move to this 7-day blackout, tell us the importance of it and how it can make a difference in the quality of our lives. Kwame, Sunhorse.
Well, no, thank you, Zelda, and greetings to your audience. And I'm not on Facebook, so I'm just using voice interconnection, which is the old-fashioned better way.
Yes, sir.
The thing that I see with the importance of it, and we saw this if we go back and look at our history, because the Birmingham, when we boycotted the buses, and eventually that after 381 days, I think it was, that they finally realized that they needed our economics. And so in us understanding that we as a people are the third wealthiest people here in this continent, and we make $1.3 trillion a year. 1.3 trillion.
Wow.
You can go on what is it? University of Georgia, Athens, and the economics, and they'll give you the statistics in the economic department. They have a statistics and data that show you our spending power and what we spend on. And so it's understanding, the power we have in our, basically what money, and they consider money, fiat, whatever, but my interpretation is my own energy yields. How we use our energy. Do we use our energy thinking negative and downgrading, or do we think upliftment? And this is what Marcus Garvey was teaching us, and what he was doing, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. Many of those leading us to say that we have to be self-sufficient. Even Booker T. Washington and W.E. Du Bois, and they debated about the academia or being able to provide for yourself. And this is what we're getting this wake-up call again. In this part of this COVID, which is the color of violence, is death, in which they're still trying to depopulate the planet as human, with making it less humans of color on the planet. That's their agenda. And that's why they put the Georgia Guidestones there, in order to make that monument to saying what they're intending to do. And so what we're looking at is how can we can march and we can Black Lives Matter and we can riot and burn up and tear up, but then we are only hurting ourselves. We're not hurting them, because that doesn't hurt their pocket. They're insured. So what we have to do to ensure that they're going to recognize us is that we do not spend our money in your place. And this is what we're going to have to learn how to do, because we are consumers, and we went from chattel slavery to debt slavery. We went from chattel slavery to sharecroppers to peonage to debt slaves. And this is the momentum, and now they're going to put us into a technological slave, that we're dependent on this technology to keep us connected to each other. So we have to look at the design of the mind of our oppressor. Stephen Biko, talked about that. Most important part of the oppressor is the mind of the oppressed. And so we have to change our mind,
And how do we change our minds is the challenge, because we're listening to all the outside sources, and many of us won't get quiet long enough to listen to what our inner voices say, because we don't trust it. We don't even know it's there. Some people don't even know it's there, that it exists, because we always ask others their opinion, as if their opinion is more valuable than ours. We always need validation. And I heard someone say yesterday, and I thought it was so clever. It's like, we don't need validation. Validation is for parking. So why do you need to be validated, period, if you're not in a parking lot to park your car?
And that goes back to, he was a great person. You calling out ancestors with Conrad Worrell and some power and light to my brother, and he joined the ancestors. But Dr. Bobby E. Wright, when he wrote The Psychopathic Racial Personality.
Yes.
And he gave us the whole design of our having been trained to be menticide. The mental, and that we hate anything that looks like ourselves or pertaining to ourselves. And that part of being able to be that psychologically trained to hate that which is most liking to yourself.
Menticide. I never heard that word before.
Well, he was right there in Chicago on 55th. He had the first black mental health center there on 55th and Garfield. And he was one of 13 black psychiatrists in the city of Chicago, along with Francis Cress Welsing. But he in turn had a mental health center that dealt with black mental health.
Now, I do know of one. I didn't know there was one outside. The one that I know about is on Kedzie and Madison, right across the street from the City of Chicago Department of Human Services. I know that one exists because I know, I can't remember his name, but a brother who works there who attends the monthly West Side Ministers Coalition monthly networking meeting, and he's always bringing us information from the center.
Right, but if you ask them, because Bobby E. Wright was one of the way showers, and seeing that we had this epidemic of post-traumatic slave syndrome, and we had PTSD before it became PTSD, because of the gang violence and the things that go on, the violence in the home. A child has PTSD when he experiences violence.
Mm-hmm.
It's not just a thing that happens in war. It happens in our community.
Mm-hmm.
It happens in our families. And how do we deal with this issue?
Mm.
You know, and that's the part, and that why he came up with the thing about menticide.
Menticide, that is powerful. Anything, we're psychologically trained to hate self or anything that looks like self.
Right.
And I see that every day. I'm for lack of a better word, I just have to say I'm saddened to see how much energy that we put in, especially women, and we're the teachers and we don't even know it. And what we're teaching our children, what we're teaching them to hate themselves by our actions, by what we do. And hair is a great example. And I am not knocking any sister who has her hair done any kind of way she wants, but the fact that we are training our children that their hair is not good enough, we got to go and, you know, have them with hair flowing down their back because they want it quick, and they don't know if they just leave the hair alone and let it grow naturally, it will grow down your back. Because I've seen it, because it's happening to me. I always thought my hair would not grow. It wouldn't get any more than, 3 or 4 inches. But when I allowed it to lock and do what it does naturally, it grows. I mean, this is self-evident. And nobody could have told me that because my mom was a beautician. And you know what that means? She told me perm was made especially for me and my hair. So that was ingrained in me as a child by a mother who I know loved me, but she just didn't know any better. And I've come to forgive her. So go ahead.
Yeah, and that's a part, because even the part of Brown versus the Board of Education, and what won that case was a social worker. And what he did is that he showed the doll test. And that our children say that white is beautiful, straight long hair is beautiful, black nappy hair is ugly. We've been trained to not like that which is the reflection of our own, when really that we have the 9 ether coil in which our hair is, and that those are antennas in which we have, along with the melanin and the black coils of our hair. Those are the receptors that give us the greatest spiritual connection, more so than our aberrant child, who's a defective African.
All right, now. And I can attest to that, Kwame, because when I first started growing my locks, they grow through stages: the baby stage, the toddler stage, and the teenage stage, and then the adult stage. And it was explained to me because I was very impatient. I'm wondering, it was like, why is one lock going in that direction, going east, and another one's going south, and another one's straight up, and another's in the back? I'm like, why is my hair like that? Why won't it just all lay down? Because I've been conditioned to think that it needs to lay down. And I had an elder explain to me, it's like, no, honey, your hair is protecting you. It's a radar. It keeps the crazy people. When the crazy people come around, one hair will stick up, or 2 or 3 hairs might stick up. And I was like, really? I never looked at it like that.
And can I share something with you?
Please.
I had locks, but they started falling out, and I got the genetic gene of my great-great-grandparent. Great-great-great-grandparent, and started falling out of the top, but I have all the sides. The thing that I learned about our family was my grandfather's father fought in Congo Square. Him, his sister, and Aunt Mary, and his brother Robert, and they were brought to Mississippi. And they used to say about the story that the children, when they had to come in the house, when Aunt Mary would come in the house, she would unwrap her hair and sit down and have the children come around her, the girls come, and twist her hair. She didn't say braid it. She said twist her hair.
Really?
And come to learn that that's what, she wore locks because her hair was in locks. and she had the children to twist her hair.
Oh, wow.
And that was after slavery.
So maybe that's where the term twist comes from, because
the twist and the lock, because when you twist it, you twist the coil together so they'll eventually lock together.
Yes.
And you wear it wrapped up so it'll bind together, because when you're out and in public, as most people do when they cover their head, is because you pick up energy of other things around you. So if you're walking around, and you, especially in the city, and you're walking through downtown and all of this antennas and cell phones and picking up. So if you could receive for every hair strand that you have, and the really thing that's even powerful with that, and finding out below the skin and the skull, is that part of that skin has crystal, which is just like it's a receptor in what all our technology is built from silicon.
Wow, is that powerful? Had no idea. Say that again for those who didn't hear it.
Yeah, but that's the importance of our understanding that the Creator made us to be designed to be a receptor and being able to receive that energy. And so he put those coils, that 9 ether coil, black is absorbing, and that sun energy, plus you have silica, or those crystals in the fiber of your scalp, in your skin. And so that's why, you know, you're able to perceive such deep thoughts and things as you learn to quiet yourself.
Wow, that is fascinating. That's why I love listening to you, because every time I listen to you, I learn something that I did not know. I had no idea.
And I would recommend the books. There's a book by a brother in Philadelphia. His name is Ross Ben. And Ross Ben has written a book called Rock of Ages Anew. Rock of Ages Anew. And what he talks about is melanin, chlorophyll, and silica. Silica is the crystals, the mineral people, and how they have the same chemical makeup. And these are the things, the plant life, our plant relatives, the green from the chlorophyll, the melanin, and the crystals are all receptors, because the green leaf draws in the sun's energy and gives us oxygen.
Wow.
The melanin draws in energy and gives us vitamin D and other nutrients that we need. The crystals, the minerals that grow in the earth, picks up the frequency of the planet in our galaxy, and they transmit the frequency of consciousness, the human frequency, that Earth's consciousness, because she's alive. And this is her computer. That's why it's the internet. It's the inner Earth net.
Wow. Inner Earth net. Never heard it expressed like that. Inner Earth net. I'm sitting here taking notes. Somebody's sending me, sorry, I can't respond to that. Is the silica, is that like the silica when you buy something and there's a little package of crystals in the bottom of it and a little envelope closed up?
Those are like artificial.
Okay.
And even with what happens in Hot Springs, Arkansas, where I go every year to do crystal digs.
My sister does too. Wow.
And what there is the world's largest one body of clear quartz crystal. It grows east and west, and it's over 170 miles of one bed of crystal, and it runs almost from the Mississippi to Oklahoma. And the thing that happens with hot springs is because the water there that comes up out of the earth at 143 degrees, over 1.5 million gallons of water come up out of the earth every day. This is why that's called hot springs.
Wow.
It's because it's been coming up since our indigenous people, and they would use that sacred water in healing and working medicines and purifying and the body. So the crystals form from that water. And see, and even in the periodical chart, when you look at, we're carbon, and the next thing to carbon is silicon.
We are carbon.
We're carbon-based people. We're carbon-based. And so they're saying that this new evolution, we're moving from a carbon-based to a silica-based because you look at what we're using. We're using silica because all of the AI, all of the technology is made from crystal. Everything runs off of crystal, but it's man-made. That's why they call it Silicon Valley, because they've taken the crystal, because what they having to do when they created the radio. Okay. And that was the thing in which they used a crystal and a strand of catgut, turning that crystal to create the frequency of that crystal vibrating to pick up that radio frequency.
And all of which you speak, is that in the book by Ross Ben?
Yeah. Ross Ben's book is Rock of Ages Anew. And then he's got two other ones, and it would be good. He's got another book that he just released last year, the end of last year. It's called 5G 101.
Oh, wow.
And that's the lesson of what crystals you can use and what things you can use to protect yourself from this 5G frequency.
Ah. And spell his name for me.
Rasben.
Just like it sounds. Okay.
Ross Ben.
Ross Ben.
Yeah, you can go on YouTube. He's got an excellent YouTube that he just did on Ross Ben 2020.
Okay. Ross Ben.
And you can watch that, and the brother's a wealth of information, and I commend him, and we've been good friends for a while now.
Wow, that is powerful information to give us the history like that, especially as it relates to radio. We can identify with that. That is powerful.
And we also look at what do we do to protect ourselves. Shootlight, amethyst, grounding yourself with obsidian or jet. These are all minerals that grow in the earth. The oldest record keepers on the planet is the stone, the grandmothers and the grandfathers. That's why the Native American use it in ceremony when they do the Inipe ceremony, or what they call the sweat lodge.
Yeah.
It's because when you heat up the rocks, or the grandmothers and grandfathers, you heat them up to bring them back to life, because that's how they form, from heat. And when you heat them back up and then you pour water which has memory and consciousness, and what you create is what's called the grandfather's breath, and you begin to sweat. So that means your pores open up, and you know that the rocks and inside of a sweat lodge, it gets over 130 degrees, and anything 130 degrees and up will kill any virus. It will kill SARS, Corona, anything. And this is what they use with it, because what they knew when they made the lodge from the willow tree, and they used specifically the willow tree because from the willow you get the chemical makeup from the bark is what they use to make aspirin. It's a pain reliever. So you're kind of getting a double mix in there, and they're in the healing.
That is
They
powerful.
birth their children in the sweat lodge. They do sacred ceremonies in the sweat lodge, and that was one of the sacred tools that they used even in Africa.
Yeah. I've heard that. Have you ever attended a sweat lodge?
I do sweat lodges. I build sweat. I've been doing sweat lodges for over almost 20 years now.
Really?
Yes, that's what I do.
I didn't know that. Why am I just learning this? I guess it wasn't time. Okay, so when is the next one?
Well, I'm looking at the sister over in Tuskegee. We're sometime in July. We got to pick the dates. and we're having a gathering there, and I built one there, and I have to go and rebuild it because they only last a year. And building because everything is from the earth. I use the saplings from the young trees. I use the rocks, and we sit on the earth, and then we cover it in blankets. And these are the ways in which we create that sacred ceremony.
So share with us, for those who may not be familiar with a sweat lodge is, the process, how one becomes involved in it, and what to expect.
Well, the thing of it is it's one of the 7 sacreds of the indigenous people. It's indigenous people all on Turtle Island. All of them have a different way in which they do their ceremonies from the west or the east. And the ceremony is sacred because it once was called, they call it sometimes the Moon Lodge, because every 28 days a woman has her sacred ceremony. And so what they did was, in creating it, that men needed to do a thing to where they needed to have a ceremony in which they needed to reconnect back to the earth. And we used the 4 elements. You use water, air, earth, and fire. And you get the grandmothers and grandfathers. You build a lodge, like I told you about the willow trees, and that was ones that they used specifically. But you can use any saplings. Specifically, not pine though, because it's too brittle. But you can build a lodge, and once you build it, it's built like an igloo. They're folded over, and they're built like an igloo. And when you turn it up on it, if you stand it up, it looks like a pregnant woman, because what you're doing is you're climbing back in. You crawl in, and you sit in a fetal position in the lodge, and that you're having a death and rebirth. And that you're crawling back into the womb of Mother Earth, and you're using the energy of her elements to rebirth yourself, to clean yourself, and then to rebirth yourself.
Now you said you sit in the fetal position.
Right, you crawl in because I said it's made in a dome, so it's not made to where you can stand up or sit straight up. It's made low enough to where when you come in, you have to sit side by side in fetal position. It's according on people and the size. Sometimes I have lodges, if it's enough room, that I have blankets and people can lay down. But the thing is you want to sit in that position, because what you're doing is that you're putting your roots, you're reconnecting your root chakra to the earth, and this is the energy that when your body begins to sweat. Because when your pores open and everything is coming out, you're detoxing. It's also the stones are putting into you.
Okay.
So it's an exchange. You're exchanging energy. You're being purification lodges, they call them sometimes. You're just like being in a steam bath, but only it's all natural.
Okay. I get that. Wow. I just never heard. So there may be how many people?
Well, in a lodge, it's according to what you build. See, you build it with 4, 8. Everything is done in 4s. So you build a lodge with 4 poles. You build it with 8 poles. You build it with 12 poles, and you build it with 16. 16 is the largest. So for each pole, there's a person.
Okay.
And what they consider the distance in which you make it.
Okay.
And so in that crawling in, that person, so when you make a 4-pole lodge, it'll hold 4 people. You make an 8-pole, it can hold 8 people, 12 people. And if you make 16, it's best not, I never take over 25 people. I've done sweat lodges for Queen of Four. I've done sweat lodges for, different chiefs. I've done ceremonies for Native American elders. Bearheart was my teacher, one of my teachers, and he was 90 years old. I did his last sweat lodge in New Mexico.
Wow.
He was one of the last Creek Muskogee medicine people his father was on the Trail of Tears.
The Trail of Tears?
Yeah, in 1832, when they took all the Creek, the Chickasaw, Choctaw, Creek, Cherokee, and Seminole was all taken from the east and moved to Oklahoma. That's what Andrew Jackson did.
Okay.
It's called the Trail of Tears.
Mm.
And a lot of us that were indigenous, but we were in our African skin that have been a part of that. We had a choice because they were taking us out of the tribe, and when they were transported, they were taking us and putting them into chattel slavery.
I often hear Mama AZ talk about the sweat lodges and earthing, yes, and earthing.
Right, because that's how I met her. I went all the way up to High Point. A sister knew that I was doing sweat lodges because I was there in Georgia, and she wanted someone to do sweat lodge for her. And I was kind of one of the first in Georgia that I know of that was a melanin, because there were a lot of indigenous and $5 Indians, as we call them. They pay $5 to get on the DOS road, but they white people. And I was the first black, because when I went up to South Dakota to first get accepted to learn the ceremonies, I had to go there and be accepted. They had to know my heart and was I centered and balanced. And they had to see where my heart was. And if my heart was true for what I was going to do, then I would represent what they already knew was to be coming. Because the four directions is the four colors. The east is yellow, the south is red, the west is black, and the north is white. And those colors are what they use in their circle of life. Oh. And they knew that the black was coming back to, because they were already warned that we had already been here.
Oh. Now that's called the circle of what? The circle of life?
Life, yeah. The medicine wheel.
Okay. And east is yellow.
East is yellow. East is the beginning. That's where the sun rises.
Okay.
That's the stage of birth. That's the child.
Okay.
Then you go to the south, which is color represented red. It represents the red nation. It represents the stage of adolescence, where you're getting ready to learn the lessons to become an adult.
Okay.
The direction of the west is represented by black. It's represented by the black race, who are the keepers of the water. It's where the ancestors live. It's where the thunder beings come from. It's where the rains come from. And then the direction of the north is represented by white, who's the keepers of the fire. And that is the top of the mountain, as our hair turns gray, or we turn that part in representing. And then that you travel back down after you become the elder. You travel back down. And that's why we talk about elders going into senility. You go back into a childlike state.
Yes.
And then you go from the east back to the west to join the ancestors.
Okay, from the east to the west. Okay, that is quite fascinating. Never heard it. Never even heard of it. Like it took about a breakdown. I never even heard of it. I've heard of the circle of life and the medicine wheel, of course, but
yeah, and that's in all cultures, because we had it in ours. It was Pista Sophia, the two circles, because when the two cells come together, they divide and split to 8, and that's why 8 is such an important number. And even the part of, when the sperm meets the egg, I'm not trying to get, but it said, let there be light. And that's what happens when that sperm hits the egg. It illuminates, it lights. And they've done that with electro microscope. Now they've seen it happen. When that sperm meets that egg, the egg actually turns into light. The zinc activates the light of that egg, and life begins.
Yes, I saw that on a YouTube video, and I was like, really? It does illuminate. Really? Okay. Yep. Wow.
That's what he means when he said, let there be light. You are light. Why do you think everyone's going around saying now, I want to be enlightened? I want to activate myself back to that light that I was born.
Okay.
Of pure energy.
Okay. Wow, that is powerful. I hope you're enjoying this as much as I am because I'm on a learning mission right now.
We're supposed to be talking about what has COVID done to our life. That's what it did. I mean,
it awakened me.
Yeah, it's activated the consciousness because this is where we are and really going to this part of our galaxy. And it's the Milky Way. And we're now ending the time of Piscean era is ending because it only stays 2,160 years. And we're at 2020. We got 140 years until it's the complete shift of the activation of I do, which is Aquarius. And Leo, and that's why you have Harem-Het that sits in Kemet because that was the time it was built at the time of Aquarius and Leo. And that's why Obama came into office because he was a Leo.
Really?
He was part of the divine order with the Temple Dendera. You can go on YouTube and look up Dr. Charles Finch, and he has a YouTube called Heaven's Wheel, and he's an Egyptologist also. He taught medicine at Morehouse School of Medicine, but he studied also with ASCAT. He was part of the same organization I was with ASCAT, and he taught about Egyptology. And he looks at the Temple of Dendera. That's the zodiacal signs of the alignment of what's coming right now. Same thing that happened in 2012 when everybody was about the Mayan calendar and the Great Shift. It's the ending of what is called the galactic year. That we take 25,920 years, the same thing you do when you breathe every day. You take a galactic trip in your body and your breath.
Say that again.
Yeah, because you breathe, the adult breathes about 18 times an hour. 60 minutes makes an hour. So 18 times 60 is 1,080. 1,080 times 24 is 25,920 breaths in a day.
Wow. I had no idea. And I got to share this with you, Kwame. I am not a medical professional, know nothing about that profession except to go to it if I'm in need, and I've been not in need, so I'm most grateful for that. But I think it was, I don't know, was the second or third show of being on the Female Solution Radio podcast, I had an idea that I needed to do something different to differentiate the Female Solution from every other podcast. And so I was in my quiet time in meditation, I asked the question, what could I do differently? And nothing came. So, but the day of the Monday morning mindfulness, that the next Monday morning rolled around, Spirit gave me the direction to do breathing. And that's how that breathing exercise started. And I was like, why am I doing breathing? I'm not a yoga teacher. I don't know nothing about the breath, but I do know how to breathe. And the thoughts just kept coming to me. So I'm beginning to understand the power of the breath and the energy and the vibration. So thank you so much for that clarification. And
I can give you a part of the teachings, because there's the Helios Biblios, that's the Holy Bible, but there also was the Gnostic teachings. The Gnostic teachings is the Hagamadea, is the book. And the book is the teachings of Pistis Sophia, who was the female goddess, the god of the, and she had a daughter Zoe, and she was sent to the earth. The man was formed in the body, and she breathed life into his nostrils. And in breathing it back, and when he awakened, he looked at her.
I just lost you, Kwame.
Okay. Can you hear me? Because I walked away from my phone.
Oh, okay. I need you to start over where you gave the goddess name. What was her name?
Her name was Pistis Sophia.
Can you spell that?
P-I-S, let me get it right. Pistis, P-I-S-T-I-S, I think. Pistis. Sophia.
Okay, Sophia.
Yeah, Sophia is wisdom, love of wisdom.
And she was the goddess of wisdom?
Yeah,
okay.
And she had a daughter, and her daughter was Zoe. And in her having that, she came sent her to the earth. And in the story, it says is that man was formed of the earth, and then she breathed life into his nostril. And when she breathed and he awakened, he said to her when he saw her, he says, "Woman, you are the breath of my life." And the Nagahamadadia scriptures is by Marvin Meyer. That's the name of the book. It's one of the revised, updated translations of the sacred Gnostic text.
No, what's it called? What's the book called?
The Nagahamadadia. It's spelled N-A-G. The next word is H-A-M-M-A-D-I. Hamadia.
The Nagahamadadia. Okay.
Right.
And who's the author of that?
Marvin Meyer. He's edited the book. It's got different advisors, but what it is the translation of the sacred Gnostic text. That's Gnostic is Gnostic.
The Gnostic text. It's the sacred?
Yeah, sacred Gnostic text.
Gnostic text. Okay. Is that T-E-X-T or T-E-S-T?
Yeah. Just like we text, like we do today texting.
Okay.
It's just like it's the same thing that happened that you have the King James Version. It's a translation from one language into English.
Okay. Of King J. Okay. Wow, that's powerful information. I see why Vieta and others no longer look at TV. If all the information that is out here, there's so much in a book. It's like, why are you turning on artificial intelligence to get away from the truth when the truth will set you free, so to speak?
Right, but the thing is what I sent you that piece with Toni Morris, and I think she says when you get freedom, but something about do you know what to do with it? Okay, you got freedom. Now, what are you going to do with it?
Right.
And that's what I was saying about, we're talking about getting free. And this is why we came up with the thing and saying the economics. Because we are the second property. We are the second most important property that made the United States. The first property was the land. The second property was the labor. That was us.
And we are still the labor.
Right. We're the consumers and the labor.
Right. And the consumers.
Right.
And we have been trained so very well that on Friday, it's like, Johnny Kemp made the song Friday Night, just got paid. Yeah, we got paid.
Yeah, we sing about it. We do it, because we're consumed. And see, the thing that happens is that when you do that transaction, it's like anything else that you develop a habit in. Your body releases certain endorphins and feelings. So you get a gratification out of getting that purse, or you getting those shoes, or you getting that outfit. You get a gratification for the moment, but it doesn't last, because the thing that we have to learn is happiness comes from within, not out.
Yes, it's an inside job.
It's an inside job.
I once heard someone say who were getting married, and they went to seek counsel from an elder, and the elder told them, "You better take happiness to the wedding with you."
Yeah.
And they were a little confused about that.
Right, and the other thing too, and looking at, we used to look at why do we have so many children back in the day, because it was a business. Running a farm was a business. And in you having, your children are your wealth. Be fruitful and multiply. Your children are your wealth, and being able to have them to come into the world for the next generation to do greater than what generated them.
Yes. And we often hear parents say, "Yeah, I want you to do better than what I did. I want you to experience things that I never got a chance to experience because of whatever reasons." Yeah. Wow.
But what they're doing is that in you being able to generate what they gave energy and you chose to come through them, and in that coming through them, it's a lesson for them to learn from you, and you to give them the tools to build what's in them.
What happens to the children who chose not to come here by way of illness of the mother, or them going to a doctor and releasing those children from the womb? What happens to those children?
Okay, I'll give you a good example. His name is Dr. Mitchell Gibson. He's a psychiatrist in North Carolina.
Dr. Mitchell Gibson?
Mitchell Gibson.
Okay.
Psychiatrist. And you can see him on YouTube. He has some lectures he does. His name is Mitchell Gibson. Mm-hmm. He was treating this little boy. The woman brought him in, and she says, they're trying to put him on medications, and I don't want my son on medication. So he says, okay, let me bring him into the office. And he took the little boy into the office, and he sat down. He says, Johnny, why are you so angry? What's wrong with you? And Johnny says, I'm mad at her. And she says, well, what did she do to you to make you mad at her? He said, every time I tried to come into the world, she kept sending me back.
Oh, wow. Wow.
She kept sending me back. And then he brought her in the room, and they were sitting there together. He says, Johnny, tell her what you just said. And he said, Mommy, I'm mad at you because every time I was trying to come and I was in your body, you kept sending me back. And I got tired of you kept sending me back. And he asked her, he says, have you had abortions? And she says, yeah.
Wow. That is powerful.
That's a memory, because we have memories, and those children that are aborted, and we use it saying that they say Planned Parenthood is eugenics, but it also became what? Birth control for women.
Yes. Yeah, big time.
Right.
I remember they
and now it's marketing the stem cells, that now that they see why I'm going to the greatest human bank, and the black woman is the gene of all humans. So why not take her first part of her gene makeup is the seed of the child. The stem cells.
That is powerful.
The genes. Every time you let them take that out of you. And now they're having women to sell their eggs and causing problems and that. I think I shared that with you with the Black Bodies by Dorothy Roberts.
I don't think so.
She talks about Yeah, I shared about that book last week. I mean, the last time we were on. And she was doing that. And then the other one was Fatal Inventions. And this is talking about the gene, because they're taking the black gene, because we are the human gene. We are the mother of humankind. I mean, you all are the mother of humankind. And the thing of it is that this is what they're doing in them, like Francis Cress Wilson said, that they're what? A recessive gene. It's a dying gene that they're recessive. And so what they're trying to do now with the science in trying to remake themselves using their parents.
When you mention stem cell, that immediately brought to mind that some of myself and my fellow skaters, we no longer roller skate, but we play bid whist. Well, whenever that starts back up again. But many do not skate anymore, and some, including myself, were seeking stem cell treatment to rebuild the cartilage in our knees. And so I've done a lot of research. I went to seminars, and what really threw me a loop was the fact that in learning about stem cells is that some of the procedures included taking the cells of embryos and with some other artificial stuff. And I was like, I don't know about putting that in my knee. I'll just keep walking. And then there was another section where they would take your stem cells, put them in a lab, regrow them or something like that, and then shoot that back into your knee. And I was like, I don't know about that either. So as I'm doing research, I always remember what Baba Dick Gregory said. He said, if it hurts, just walk on it. So it's like, okay, I'm in pain, but I'm not going to jog. I'm not going to run, but I am going to continue to walk on it. And during my therapy with my physical therapist, I discovered, she said that the more, each muscle, tendon, fiber, ligament is attached to the next one. The hips attached to the knees attached to the ankle, and so on and so forth. And as you continue to strengthen the muscles around those tendons, ligaments, and joints, is that it will begin to feel better, and you will forget all about the stem cell. Well, I have not forgotten about the stem cell. I thought about it when you just brought it up. But what I learned was the more active I am, the more I continue my daily routine of walking, I have less stress on the knee, which means less pain. And I feel better. So it's like, I don't need no stem cell treatment. I'm good. Just let me keep doing what I'm doing. Let me keep going to the gym and walking. So I want to thank you for sharing that stem cell information. Because
I'm most honored and honoring it, because our people perish for the lack of knowledge. And
yes.
The other thing is that in you listening to your intuition to say, no, I'm not allowing someone to experiment.
Thank you. And I'm paying for it.
Right, and you're paying to be a guinea pig.
Yes.
And the thing that you're looking at is the Creator is the only one that heals.
Thank you.
Our body makes a scab. So if you're having problems with the knee and the cartilage and doing that, number one, pounding, the human body was not made to be moving on concrete.
No.
And that shock, constantly shocking and running and doing that. It does that. And then I found out I eat turkey and poultry. I eat turkey and chicken. I found out that turkey, the acidic in the turkey meat eats away at the cartilage of the bone. What? And causes the inflammation.
Wow.
So it's what you're looking at and what you consume. And the thing that we're doing is that you are what you eat. And so and we're having this whole thing of, and especially for us as people, we have hereditary diet.
Yes. Soul food.
That's it.
Yes, sir.
But the soul of the food is not the same, because unless you have grandma's teachings that you did, that and your consumerism is that you go to Kroger's, Jewel's, or A&P or Red Rooster, or any of those used to be stores, and you get that. It ain't coming from walking out there in grandma's backyard and grab the turkey. And wringing the neck and taking it and then going over to the garden and getting the greens and tomatoes and everything to make. You go and consume. And I tell people sometimes when going to the store, if you're a consumerism, because you live in a food desert. That's why I was talking about Oasis. But this is another part. When you walk into a store, just ask for the man and ask him, he says, okay, where's your health food section at? And they'll point over basically to a corner of the store where they put all the things of what they consider healthy. So what is the rest of the store? Yeah.
It's unhealthy. It's not.
It's unhealthy.
It's not the place to be.
And that's what Dick Gregory learned by going to the first vegetarian restaurant was there on 63rd Street. Alvina Fulton.
Yes. And I'm so
fasting, water.
Yes.
And vegetable.
I am so honored to have met her before she made her transition.
Yeah.
Powerful woman.
I met her. She used to do a show on WBEE, and I met when we doing a show with Delbert Blair.
Yes.
And Delbert Blair, and she came on right after him.
Yes. Let me tell you. Let me back up for just a second when we were talking about the knees and the joints and things of that nature. I remember my sister of the microphone, Bonnie DeShawn from V103. You remember Bonnie?
Yeah, I remember.
She's been on every station there is in the city of Chicago. when we were working at WGCI together, I remember her coming in the day before a marathon was taking place, and she said that she was going to run, and we were all so excited, you know, and cheering her on. She came in the day after it. She could barely walk. And then she had to take like a week or two off. And I'm saying to myself, I'm glad I ain't tried to go out here and do no marathon. And then, 20 years later, I'm at the doctor's office, my orthopedic surgeon, when I had the incident, God's way of remaining anonymous. I see her sitting in the lobby. She's waiting. We've got the same orthopedic surgeon, and we didn't even know it. And I'm asking her, what is she there for? You know how we just conversation. And she talked about her knees and her hips because of that jogging. And I think about it every time I see people out there jogging. I think about it.
Yeah, but what happens is that the human body was not made to go into that shocking.
Yeah.
Because when you're running on asphalt or concrete, you know, we ran on the earth.
Yes.
It's because the earth absorbs the shock that when you're running. It absorbs it, but guess who absorbs it when you're running on concrete and asphalt? Your body. And that's why people be getting it. Oh, I got to get these jogging shoes.
Yes.
Because what you're doing is you're trying to cushion the impact of you putting your weight on one leg and pounding it and pounding it and pounding it, running a marathon.
Yeah.
And that's what the damage you're doing to yourself.
Yeah. And you don't know that.
No, you're thinking that, okay, it's good to run.
Doing something healthy.
Right. You go out there on the beach and run.
Right.
That's it's because you're getting the energy of the sand, which is nothing but crystalline rock, granite. And the thing is that you're running on it, so it takes the impact of you pounding down on it, your weight pounding down on it. But when you're running on concrete, all this doing is sending the shock back up into you, so you get your joints gets what are they called? Splinters.
Mm-hmm.
That eventually you splinter it, because if you keep pounding on something like that, why do you think that the women in Africa would take those big old pieces of wood and put the corn in a bowl, and they pound it and make it to powder? That's all you're doing with your joints.
Say that again. OMG.
You're pulverizing your own body.
Wow, and don't even know it. But that's what happens when we follow instead of lead. I have never ever been inclined to run. It didn't. It's like I can walk. I'm not in a hurry.
Right, and walking is better, and especially if you're walking on earth. That's why we're talking about creating the oasis, and coming back to nature.
Yes.
Because in you, when your soul, the bottom of your feet is walking on the earth, there's an energy exchange. Every time you put your foot down on the earth, it's energy running up into your body and back into the heavens, that's coming down from the heavens, and the sun and the stars and the moons and all the planets up there. And you become what's called a photon. Is that this energy is running up through you like it runs up through the earth, and it goes back into the heavens. So, but when you're running, and this is why they design rubber shoes, because you don't even see shoe shops no more.
You sure don't.
Because the shoes are no longer made with rubber. It's made with insulation to keep you insulated from the electrical current if you was to walk on the grass.
Oh, really?
Yes, it's insulation. Rubber is insulation for electrical current.
Oh,
plastic.
Yes.
Now it's plastic.
Yes.
So, and the other thing, you think about something too, when you got these plastic shoes and you walking on concrete and it's hot, 90 degrees, and the concrete is 100 and something, that your shoes are getting hot. Why do you think your feet smell so is because it doesn't breathe.
Yes.
And then the plastic leaches into your body and absorbs the toxins coming out of the plastic, goes through your socks and into your feet and absorbs up into your body.
Yes. And that's why your feet smell so bad. Oh.
Yeah. Didn't it?
Wow. I had a personal trainer probably 20 years ago. As a matter of fact, Cornell McClellan, the owner of Naturally Fit, where fitness is natural, he is the trainer for Michelle and Barack Obama. And I didn't know. I was working out with Michelle Obama, and I didn't know who she was. She was just helping me climb 8 flights of stairs one day, and I was having a hard time. And that's one of the things that I learned. It's like, oh my goodness, the shoes are so important. And the trainer, Cornell, that's what he said, was that they have been attacking us from all sides. And he was talking about one of the ladies came in and had on some Payless sandals. I know Payless because I used to wear Payless. And I commented on her, but during our conversation, he's like, yeah, now they're attacking us through our feet with plastic shoes. And I'm thinking to myself, oh, you know, what's wrong with plastic shoes? They're comfortable. Does it matter if they're plastic or leather?
No, but we don't really. But see, this is why the indigenous people wore skin.
Yes. Yes.
Even though you're covering the foot from that, but you're still being able to porous is just like your skin, so you're just having the energy exchange.
Mm-hmm. Wow. This has been a history, a lesson in economics, a lesson in lifestyle, a lesson in everything. Good Lord. I can't wait to edit this and put this on YouTube. This is powerful information. Kwame Sunhorse, Lord, have mercy. Where has the time gone? You are just a wealth. I mean, a wealth of information.
I know I don't know, so I'm here to know.
You might be here to know, but thank you for sharing what you do know. We appreciate that because, you know, we don't learn this in school, Kwame. They don't teach us this. It's the 3 R's, reading, writing, and arithmetic. And that's to go work in the corporate America, to work for them and to get in debt and to stay in debt and never pay off that student loan and just worry about money for the rest of your life. They don't teach us information from the indigenous people. They don't teach us that which we need to know to reach a higher level of consciousness, to operate on a different level of being. So,
but this is what I was sharing about the galactic shift, and this is the part of what happens is, and you following your intuition, or when you said that you were trying to figure out, you know, what am I needed to do, and then when you got to do the show, Spirit showed you your breath, because your Akashic record, your DNA activated when the time was supposed to do. It's because you are the mitochondrial DNA. You are the human bank of all our knowledge from the first human, which was what a black woman produced, was the first human. And so she has carried in her blood all of her existence is in the blood. And this is why it's so important, the activation of the DNA. And this is why the genes are so important, because we're now in a time that we're in an energy that's helping to activate that human bank. And this is why they're so prevalent in trying to distort it as much as they can by changing the electrical frequency.
Yes. Yes. And most of us don't have a clue.
Yeah, and see, the important part of something is, and I tell people this, I say, take a book, open it up. Now, what color are the letters in the book? Most books you open up, what color are the letters?
They're black.
And what are they on?
White paper. White paper.
So black is the words and the information is in black. It's in black. Understand yourself. It's in black.
And what's the most popular color?
Black.
Are those lovely birds I hear chirping in the background?
Yeah.
Oh, I love it.
I'm sitting on my porch.
I love it. Do you know what kind of birds those are?
That's a wren. I think it is.
Ooh.
I can't see him. But I think that's his call because I know cardinals and blue jays. It's a merit of relatives out here because I got 2 acres out in my front, 2 acres in the back, and then across the street is 240 miles of lake.
Whoa! You are simply bathing in nature. Oh, I love it. I didn't mean to get off the subject, but I keep hearing the birds, and I was like, are those birds? I missed that because I lived in the South as a child, and I would hear birds when I wake up in the morning, and I so miss that now.
Oh yeah. I get up and I get up like before day and watch the sun come up over the trees.
Yeah.
Now that all the trees are full, because when the trees were bare, I could get up and watch it light up the lake.
Oh wow.
But now all the trees are full, so I just look through and I can see the other side of across the street where all the trees are, and see the lake down there.
Mm. Have any of the birds ever came and sat close to you? Or near you?
Let me show you something. I don't drive too much. I go out once a week, going out to the food bank, and now I go every other week.
Mm-hmm.
A bird, a thrush, got in the grill of my truck, built a nest, and had its nest in my grill of my truck.
Whoa. And nothing disturbed it there?
Oh. And the thing that I looked at it and driving it, I said, okay, I can't drive it, so now what I got to do, what am I going to do now? And I looked in it and didn't have any eggs yet. I said, okay, she hadn't moved eggs, so I took it and set it up in the tree, in between branches in the tree.
Okay.
But I've got a bird nest right here. I got this little it's like a imitation outhouse. It's a little small outhouse that I got some antique stuff that I have. And the birds make their nest in there every year, and they use that outhouse as their bird nest.
Oh, wow.
And then I feed my hummingbird. I have a hummingbird feeder and hang that up there, so the hummingbirds come and they back and forth all day drinking out of the feeder. So it's all of that. I mean, these are all relatives. And they bring, when you see different, and I would advise if you want to understand the messages of your relatives, the insects, the birds, the animals, get a book by Ted Andrews, and it's called Animal Speaks. And it's the best one we get is the Small Pocket Guide.
Okay.
Because it has the insects, it has the birds, it has the fish, and it has the animals. And it has the sea animals.
Okay.
And each one has a message. And this is the way you can get a PhD in nature.
Wow. I think that's the path I'm on, Kwame, because when all of this COVID-19 started, I was directed to, people were buying up toilet paper and things, alcohol. I didn't go do any of that. And somebody said, girl, something wrong with you. You better go get you some toilet paper. I said, we got toilet paper. There's only 2 of us and we ain't about to run out. We got plenty. But what I was directed to do was to go and buy plants.
Right.
And I bought plants. It's like it became an addiction, and I couldn't understand why, because I've never had a green thumb. Every plant that I ever bought, I always killed it. But my sister, she lived on the farm longer than I did, so she really had a green thumb. And I would sit and have conversations with her, and she's like, girl, you're just watering your plants too much. That's all. Just leave them alone. They'll be fine on their own. So
what you've been given is that your activation. This is what I'm talking about.
Yes.
Because what we're having now is the ascension, and this is why DSM-4 and DSM-5 has 2 new entrants into them. Is that they have ascension disorder and nature deficit disorder. People are not connected to nature, and they're wondering, they're going stir crazy by being, and especially now with the pandemic, and self-quarantine is really harming, and we're supposed to be interacting with the human because that's how you do energy. if you stay 6 feet from your child and just gave it a bottle, it would be sickly.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
Now, why are you going to do this with a human?
Right.
Another human.
Right. Absolutely right. Who was that called into the show? I don't know if it was Mama AZ or someone called into the Female Solution radio show and said that she talked about the fact that Hitler, during the Holocaust, they did an experiment with babies. They put one set of babies where they only fed them and changed them and did nothing else, no human touch. And in the other set of babies, they fed them, changed them, and they cuddled with them. And they held them. Those babies survived. All of the other babies died.
Right. Because you grow inside of a woman's womb. You develop in a body. Why do you want to disconnect? You just come out to reconnect to the rest of the bodies, the rest of the human in your village.
Powerful. Powerful. I am so loving and enjoying this journey that we're on. And I want to thank you for being a part of my journey, because I'm learning so much, and I've got a list of half a dozen books now to go and get and to read, and half a dozen videos to watch on YouTube. So I want to thank you so very much for being a catalyst for
us. Because each one teach one, and this is part of, they say when you educate a woman, you educate a nation. When you educate a man, you just give him something to think about. So I do a lot of thinking, because you all are the nurturers.
Wow.
You pass on.
Wow. That's powerful. Well, you're passing it on too. You pass it on to me, and you're passing it on to all our listeners and viewers, so you're passing it on too.
Well, I mean, I'm grateful, because this is part of, sharing with me, because the thing that I learned something, Conrad was one of my elders, Hannibal Africa, a lot of the elders I had, but when they go, that's a whole set of encyclopedias.
Yes.
And if you don't, knowledge, take it, keeping your knowledge is death to the next generation.
Oh.
You're a thief.
Oh.
Keeping your knowledge is death to the next generation.
Oh. That's a heavy quote. I gotta write that one down. Keeping your knowledge
is death to the next generation.
To the next generation. Thank you, Renz, in the background. We hear you. We thank you. We appreciate you. I know I certainly do. I love hearing. But I kept hearing that sound. I said, no, that's not a cell phone. But they're in on Kwame. They're in on the conversation too. They said they want to speak too.
Oh yeah, and it's really funny, because it's telling me something, because he keeps singing, and so
trying to get your attention.
No, he's letting us know. Aren means Aren. I'm gonna show you what I told you about this book. Aren.
Okay.
Resourcefulness. Be resourceful and bold, using what is available to you. Confront obstacles and resistance. Keep your eye on the big picture. That's what Aren means.
Wow.
That's why he kept singing until I said, okay, go get the book and read it. Because I didn't do it the first time when I told you what the name was. Now you see he stopped.
Yes, I see that. I said he was speaking to us. I said that. Yes.
Yeah. He says, tell her what I mean.
Isn't that something? That is powerful. It just doesn't get any better. We speak nature speaks right back to us. I love it. And thank nature. Thank us.
Well, thank us. And us came from united spirits, because all of us are united to everything on the planet. And as humans, we're united spirits. We're connected.
I love that. It just couldn't. Okay, Mr. Rand, we hear you. Yes. We love and appreciate you and your energy and your song styling. We love that too. Wow, this has just made my day. I thought after my career in radio was over and I had interviewed Luther Vandross, it's like, and Bill Cosby, it's like, I don't care if I ever interview anybody else. I could care less. So I think I'm through. But Lord knows I did not know what nature had in store for me through the Female Solution. And coming through was the elder himself, who says, thank us, Brother Kwame Sunhorse. It is an honor. It is a privilege to have been and to connect with you and to connect with our viewers and our listeners. And I'd like for you to just give us a closing thought on this issue today of how COVID. Go ahead.
COVID, and COVID is an acronym, and I created the acronym in saying that the color of violence is death. And the part of it is that this is what the powers to be that created this, and given it this name, and being able to attack at the biological, the cellular, and their attempt, but the spirit they cannot touch.
All right now.
And as long as you're in oneness with your spirit and your creator, if there's no enemy within you, no enemy outside of you can't harm you.
I couldn't have said it better myself, but you said it so eloquently, and I appreciate you, my brother.
I appreciate you also.
Amen. Thank you. Thank you. Thank us. Thank us. Thank you. Thank you for the spirit. Thank you for the elders who are with us here today. Let us go out and share this information so that we can bring everybody up on the same level, including those who tried to disrupt the message today. We love them anyway, just right where they are.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
They did us a favor.
Yes, they did. Yes, they did. So we can have a quarantine in peace. Naima Latif just joined and said, greetings, watching on Facebook, couldn't find the Zoom link. That's what we were just talking about, Naima. We had some hackers hack into Zoom, so we had to come straight to Facebook. So that was the voice of Kwame, Brother Kwame Sunhorse. If you had a question, now's the time to type it in, because we were just about to end, because we've been on an hour and a half now. Because Naima just did Pandemic Farm. I think today was day 20 something or another. She does Pandemic Farms from 11 a.m. until 1 p.m. on the Female Solution. Also on on Naima Latif, Naimah Latif, Naima Latif. Anyway, we're about to sign off. So thank you so much. Thank us for.
All right, thank us.
All righty now, and I look forward to our next. What's today? Friday, Saturday, tomorrow. I'm not sure who will be on the Female Solution, but I'll be joining you Sunday night with Viata. And if you didn't get a chance to hear Viata's show this morning on Health and Wellness on blogtalkradio.com, the Female Solution, Health and Wellness with Viata, go back and listen to it. It's 24/7 in the archives, and on Sunday she will be on Sunday evenings, 7 o'clock.
Soul Purpose Healing.
Soul Purpose Healing. Thank you, Kwame. Central Standard Time. And then you can join me again on Monday morning, Mindfulness, blogtalkradio.com, the Female Solution. Stay on purpose, stay empowered, and stay tuned to more of higher learning. And thank us. Make it a great day. Thank you, Kwame.